Hello, hello, hello. Not gonna lie, today was a little scary and I'm gonna tell you why. High school cafeterias, they can be an intimidating place, right? But they're even more intimidating when you're a 22-year-old going in there to meet students. You don't really officially work there, and you didn't even graduate from that school. Maybe a handful of kids. You don't know where they sit. You don't know how to find them. So, I love being a Young Life leader. It is so fun and rewarding, but some parts of it can be so intimidating and drag you right out of your comfort zone, which is also what I love about Young Life, oddly enough. Anyways, so today we went to a different school and we went to their lunch. And the first lunch, so there's first and second lunch and then a little bit of a break in between. So the first lunch we sat with one of my church girls and got to know her friends, and it was really good. And then the second lunch, I was like, okay, I don't really know anybody at the second lunch. I'm a little intimidated because I don't have that comfortable face to see and be like, hey, introduce me to your friends. So I'm alone, right? And trying to find people to talk to. And Jonathan is like, hey, I'm probably gonna leave you and go talk to this kid that I met last week. And he doesn't really like a big crowd, so I'm just gonna go by myself. And I'm like, awesome, that sounds good. A little scared, right? And so he leaves, and I'm like, oh shoot, it's my time to shine. I gotta go find someone to talk to, right? And so I go into the cafeteria, and I'm like, okay, be bold. You're fine. These are high school students. You're 22. You ain't scared. And so I walked in there and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take some laps around and see if I can find a comfortable face, someone that maybe looks like they wanna have a conversation, someone sitting alone perhaps. Start walking. Meet eyes with this young woman sitting at a table by herself. She looks like she wants to have a conversation, and I'm like, perfect. And so I sit down across from her and I'm like, hey, do you mind if I sit here? And she's like, no, not at all. And so I sit next to her and she was like, are you a student here? And I was like, oh no, I'm not a student here. I had my visitor's badge, So I whip it out to show her and I'm like, I actually work with an organization called Young Life and I'm just here to hang out with students and meet new people. Tell me about yourself. What grade are you in? Do you have siblings? Yada, yada, yada. We end up having a beautiful conversation. We laugh a lot. And at the end of the conversation, she has to get to class. And so I'm walking with her as she's throwing away her tray. And she turns to me and she said, I really like you. I literally looked at her like this. I really like you too. And then we just had this moment. And then she threw her tray away and she left. And then I'm rejoicing because I'm like, that was such a good conversation. I cannot wait till next week when I get to find her again. And then I thought to myself, you dingus. You didn't even invite her to Young Life. Obviously want her to get plugged in and meet new people and all that good stuff. And so I hello, why didn't you invite her to club and campaigners and church? And so I run out the door. And I'm like, no. I probably shouldn't say her name. I said, I totally forgot to give you our Instagram page so that you know what events we go to and all this jazz. And so she whips out her phone and she follows us on Instagram. And I just, I got in my car and I was just rejoicing that I get to do this for a job. I literally get to have friendships for a job. And then tell them about the good news. What? That's crazy. I just wanted to share that with you guys because it got me so pumped and it just reminded me again why I do what I do. Some days can be discouraging and some days I just feel like, wow, I don't know what I'm doing here. I am not equipped. I care about what people think, and it hinders me from being bold and sitting with a group of kids. I was just reminded that it's not about me. Like, it's not about whether these kids like me or not. Like, it's bigger than that. It's these kids' salvations, you know, that I'm worried about. And, you know, through relationship, I get to share that with them. But anyways, I also am starting to fundraise. So with Young Life, I fundraise part of my salary. And so this year, I need to raise 11,000, sorry. 11,000. But I would love if you would support me. Emotionally, I need prayer warriors, truly. But also financially, like, I just ask that you pray about maybe financially supporting me in this ministry. Sorry, I get really awkward when I'm like asking for like financial partnership is the word. But anyways, so if you find it in your heart that you would love to support this ministry and support me in this ministry, please feel free to contact me through Messenger or if you have my number. But anyways, I hope you guys have a blessed day, and that's all. Okay, bye.